Hey guys, I'm excited. Some of you have requested to know how I painted these flowers, so I thought I would do a how-to video now that Mother's Day is over. Now, of course, if you still want to purchase one of these already painted, you totally can. Notice that I left the blank spot right here so that you could add in any words or customize it how you want to. But I am going to show you how to make these flowers for those of you that are interested. And really, I'm going to share a little secret with you. Don't stress about it. It's just for fun, right? So they're really just kind of trial and error, just being honest. I'm going to give you how I do them and layer them and blend the colors and mix. But it's really something that you just kind of have to practice and get used to. So if you even wanted to practice on paper first before you commit to the canvas, or maybe on some cardboard first, that would be a great idea. So I just have a little canvas over here to the side. You could do them on any size you want. I have some of these flowers on a massive canvas up at my studio, and it looks really cool. I actually did them on a black canvas. So I have all my paints that you could get in a kit if you were to order one from me. And I typically set up my plate with white paint in the middle. And this particular canvas uses quite a bit of white paint. And then really whatever colors you want in your flowers. So I'll probably do some yellow. That's probably too much. Remember, you can always get more, right? And then I'll probably make some orange at some point, but I don't have orange paint out. But of course, we can make our orange paint by mixing yellow and red. You guys know that. And just like I don't have pink paint, so I'm going to put a little extra red so that I can make some pink here in a bit. And if I wanted some purple, I could put some purple out on my plate. There we go. So really just whatever colors you want. I might even want some turquoise. So I can make turquoise leaves, or I could make, green. There we go. And, maybe that's it. Okay, so for my background, I actually did a really, really soft, creamy background on this one. But first, let me show you real quick. To clean your brush, I tell my kiddos at school, it becomes a ballerina. Goes all the way in, and we smush and swirl on the bottom of our cup. Even try scraping on the edge of your cup. Now, you do not want to use a favorite cup. My daughter used one of my glass cups when she was younger. Because she didn't know any different, and just like it sticks on these plastic cups, it'll stick on the glass cups. At least you can kind of work it off over time, but just don't use a favorite cup. I just use a plastic cup over and over and over and over again and eventually toss it out. You definitely need napkins because you have to dry your brush every single time you wash it. So I just sweep it on my napkin. And also make sure you have just some fun clothes on that don't matter if you get paint on them, or an apron. Maybe cover your surface so you don't get upset if you get paint on your table. I'll tell you what, I ruined my mama's kitchen table growing up with all the art projects I did on it. So now, you know, you learn your lesson. You cover your table, right? And turn on some music, right? Just chill, relax. This is fun. And it'll be real easy to stress yourself out with these if you don't go into it with the right mindset. So let's just go into it with a chill, fun attitude and have at it. Maybe grab a drink and a snack, right? And just make this a fun experience. Okay, so for my background, like I was saying, I did sort of a soft, creamy color. So in order to get that, I am going to move a chunk of white. I will probably wind up using all of this white plus some. And then I am going to put some yellow into my white. Always just start out with a tiny bit at a time because you can add more, but you can't take it out once it's in there. And then I'll grab just a teeny bit of red, a little bit. I know that looks like a lot, but it's really just like a smushed chocolate chip amount. I mean, mini chocolate chip, and mix that in. And so you can always add more red in if you need to, but you cannot take it out once it's in there, okay? So we'll start with that. This is a little off from my original. It's a little brighter, but that's okay. We can go brighter, right? And then I just sort of boop, 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 swirl this all around. And we don't have to get super concerned about, you know, like this big corner up here, because maybe just a little right in here, just kind of right on the edges just in case. But I don't have to completely fill in that top left corner because that's where my flowers are going to go. And we just swirl, 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 kind of joop, 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 like flick right, flick left, flick right, flick left, or swirl, makes U's, N's, C's, backward C's, and just kind of smear that paint all around. I like texture on my canvas, and this canvas will have texture because these flowers, I'll tell you what, I put on pretty thick, okay, just so you know. Now, as you're painting, if you see these teeny tiny white spots showing, that means that you do not have enough paint on your canvas and your canvas is screaming at you to add more color. Also, I like to do my edges, so I'll go down the very side, just like that. And then at some point, I have to remember to flip this upside down and do the bottom, so don't let me forget. And then I could go ahead and do this edge over here, just like that. Okay, now if you feel like your background is too bright, you can leave all of your color in your paintbrush, your background color in your paintbrush, and then just grab you a chunk of white, good chunk, do a little sweep, little sweep, little sweep, just like that. And then just sort of work it in there, okay? And the more you work it, the more it will blend and the less noticeable it will be. But if you want it to be more noticeable, then don't go over it a whole bunch, okay? So if you want it more noticeable, just barely blend it in. But if you don't want it noticeable at all, then we just sort of work it like that, okay? There we go. Now you don't have to do the white. If you like the way it looks as is, then just leave it alone. Don't put the white in there. It's totally optional, only if you wanna. That's what's so awesome about art, is it's your art. You are your own special artist. Even as an adult, you are your own special artist. So you don't have to follow me exactly. And in fact, it's kind of fun to be brave and just step out a little bit and do your own thing, because it can be fixed. If you mess up, you let it dry and you paint over it, right? Or you get your napkin, wrap it around your finger, dip it in your water, and then you can just clean it right off. It's not a big deal, okay? So this brush is gonna go in my water, and I'm trying to think what I want to do next. Let's start with this big guy back here because he is the lightest. I'm going to start with straight yellow, and I am going to just do sort of these curved lines right there in the corner, just like that, okay? So we will just swirl that all in there. And in fact, I probably could have stuck with my big brush for filling in the background and then switched to my smaller brush for blending, but that's okay. There we go. We get that all filled in. You can even bring this color over to the edge if you want, or you can forget about it because we already painted this side. Okay, so we got our bright yellow on there, right? So now I am going to take straight white, okay, and I am going to make a C. Probably can't see that. And then a backwards C that sort of alternates with it. And then see how there's a gap right there? Right there, I'm going to do a C, or I guess it's not a C, it's more like a N, a U. Oh, I need more white paint. So they're just curved lines, okay? And then in this gap right here, curved line. And I'm smushing, look at my bristles, smush those bristles. Smush them, smush them, smush them, smush them, smush them. Just like that. Okay? See how it's starting to take on a flower look? And I promise you, your first one, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, what is she talking about? OMG. But after you practice and you practice again, by the time you get to your last flower, it's going to be beautiful. And then you can go back to that first flower and do some touch-ups, right? Okay, but we want to add a little bit of contrast in there, okay? So remember this color that we used for our background? I'm going to scrape all of it. I'm going to try to get it into one pile. Now, I know that it looks like I have a lot of colors on these plates. I like to reuse my paint plates as many times as I can before I throw them away, just because it helps the environment a little bit. It's just a little bit, right? Okay, add some more red in there so that I get more of an orangey color, okay? So now I can come in here and just sort of go where I already did with the white and just put smudges, smushies of orange on top. Just like that. Quick little smushies, okay? Now, we're actually going to take some yellow right here, separate it, grab just a little bit of red and mix it in so that we actually make an orange, okay? Just like that, so we like for real make an orange. Now, this time I'm not going to smush as hard. Okay, this time, gently, I am going to kind of make some curved lines around, get a little bit more. And because we are putting wet paint on top of wet paint, it does sort of blend, but it doesn't blend completely. So just barely touch your brush to your canvas. And now we have that effect. Okay? So, and then if I wanted to go even more contrast, I could add just a little bit more red to that orange that I just made and do just a little pop kind of in there. Just like that. There. Okay, so now that, my friends, is how you make your flower. And if you want to blend it more, then you can always get some more white. Like I could scrape a lot of this off onto my plate, just kind of scrape it off. And if you wanted a little more blendy, you can get white back on your brush and you can just sort of kind of give it a little, like a circle that just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and just kind of blend it in just a little bit more. So it's really up to you, like how perfect you want it to be. Do you want it to be almost kind of abstract-y, or do you want it to be more like it actually kind of sort of looks like it has petals? Okay, so it's totally up to you. There it is. Now mine is gonna look completely different than yours, okay? Completely different, and that is okay. Now, I am going to switch up. I'm gonna do a more reddish, and then I'm gonna do a more pinkish, and then I think I'm gonna do a purple, okay? Just so you can kind of get a feel for the difference. So, on the reddish, I don't wanna go quite this bold, so I am gonna grab a chunk of white, chocolate chip amount, chunk of white, mix it over here in the side of my red just to soften it up some. so it's not so bold. And we'll take this and kind of work this in here like that, okay? And then we'll get it all filled in. It's just a big circle, but then kind of smush the edges. If your background is too wet and it starts blending in there too much, what you can do is take a time out, go get a drink and snack refill, take a little dance break, or go get your blow dryer and blow dry your canvas, because that, my friends, is the only thing I use my blow dryer for, is to blow dry my canvas and blow dry my dogs when they get out of the bath. And yes, I am that kind of dog mama. Okay, so we get our little flower all filled in. There. Whoop, just like that. Now, I'm going to scrape out just a little bit of that because that's still a lot of red in my brush. I'm going to scrape a little bit of that out. Scrape, scrape, scrape. And now I'm going to get some white and I'm going to show you a little different way. Okay, so this time if you want to, you can start at the middle and then just kind of do a broken spiral until you get close to the edge and then follow those curves. So that is another method you can do as well. Okay, then I could take a little bit of that orange I was using earlier and I could do a little C, backward C, curve, 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 just like that. And I could pop a little bit more white back in there. There we go. Ooh, there's some thunder outside. I don't know if you guys can hear that. There we go. Okay. Fabulous. Now I'm going to do a pink one over here, but this time I'm going to add a lot of white and just a little bit of my dark pink I had going on. So see, that is much lighter. And this one is going to be over here. So we start a circle, we get bigger, 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 bigger. And then we can kind of curve, curve, curve. And as I make these little curves, I am smushing my brush to the canvas, okay? Now, scrape some of this extra out because that is a lot. Okay, I'm scraping it out. Little secret, there's a screen above the lens that I look at so I can make sure I can see what you're seeing. Y'all probably already knew that though. Okay. Start at the middle, we make our spiral, curve, 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 just like that. And now I can grab some of my dark pink I made and I can do, okay, so I do like a frowny face, smiley face, and see how there's a gap right there and a gap right there. In the gap, we do a curve, 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 grab some more. And all I'm doing is I'm barely touching the brush to the canvas so that I can lay wet paint on top of wet paint. There we go. Fabulous. And after this dries a little bit, I may pop a little bit more, or actually, I guess we could try it right now and just put some straight white back on there again, because I was trying to go lighter and it almost looks the same as that one, doesn't it? So I will just smush some white in there now. Yeah, that softened it up a little. Okay, clean my brush, so I have to rub on the bottom. It's okay to smush it. There's art teachers out there that must say it's not okay. It's okay. It's not okay to smush it on the canvas. I think it's okay to smush it on the inside the cup. Okay, so for the purple, oop, just stuck my hand in wet paint. For the purple, I am going to grab some of this white, grab chocolate chip amount of purple, mix that in. I definitely want it to be darker than that, so mix some more purple in. Okay, we'll start with that and we'll see. Okay, now the problem that I'm about to see happen is that yellow right here is still a little bit wet, and purple and yellow are complementary colors. So if they mix, they can make brown. If you do it just right, you can use like purple to darken your yellow or yellow to darken your purple. But if you use equal amounts of purple and yellow together, it does go brown. So I do have to be careful when I get to this spot right here that I just barely lay the color on top, okay? And in fact, do you know what would be wise? What would be wise, since I know that is a possibility that could happen, what if we just work on our leaves for a minute? That would be wise. I don't know if your brains work like that, but sometimes I problem solve as I go, and I didn't have that problem here because I used pink, but because I'm switching it up and putting some purple in there, that's a problem. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix some white and turquoise together to make a lighter turquoise, and then I'll show you how to make a darker turquoise here in just a minute. Okay. And we know that this guy is kind of curving around from here, like that. And you can bring this down as far as you want, you know, and you could fill your whole canvas up with flowers. If you don't want to put a message, fill the whole thing up with flowers. That would be so fun. Okay, down here at the bottom, we're going to do curve line, lazy C, I don't know how you want to think of it, and then backward C. And then I want this to be a little more pointy. There we go. Okay. And then right here, same thing, curve. Kind of put a little flip. Fill it in from one side to the other. Make sure you have enough paint on your brush. This guy goes right off the canvas. I like when art goes off the canvas. And then this one can kind of go on top of that. And I think it's okay when colors bleed together a little bit right there, but if that bothers you, before you start all this extra stuff, go blow dry that canvas, or again, take a little break and definitely come back to it after it's dry, okay? There we go. There. And then we've got to put one in here. There we go. Fill that in. And boop. And you can get as flippy with these leaves as you want, or keep them as calm as you want. There we go. So funny, there major thunder just a second ago outside, and now I hear birds just chirping away out there. There we go. All right. Now we want to add a little depth to our leaves because that's boring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave all this turquoise in my brush, and I'm going to grab a little bit of white, and I'm going to sweep just kind of on the top parts of the leaves. I'm going to sweep a little bit of white just like that. There we go. And then do the same thing on this one. Top part of the leaf, just follow that curve and flip. Follow the curve, follow the curve. And if it doesn't have like just a top, or it doesn't have a top at all, then I'll do like the left side. So you pick one side to be the highlight or the shine, and then you can pick one side to be in the shadow. And then I want to do there. Just kind of highlight. So see, now it's starting to come to life a little bit. Okay. And now let me show you something else that's kind of cool. You can take a little bit of red, because red is green's complement and turquoise is kind of like green. And I mix a little bit of the red into the turquoise, and look how it made it a darker, well, there we go. Makes it a little bit darker. So you just do a teeny bit at a time. Just like I was talking earlier, if you do too much, it'll just go brown. Okay, so now we can do a little test. Oh yes. So if you put a highlight on the top, then you put a shadow up underneath like that. There we go. So highlights are on the top, shadows are underneath. There we go. Oh, fabulous. Fabulous. I love it. Okay. I might like those better than my first ones. Okay, now we can maybe attempt, and this is still a little bit wet. I can tell it's a little shiny, but that's okay. It's at least a little drier than it was, right? So now I'm gonna grab me some purple and start right here, like a circle, and then get bigger, bigger, bigger. And I need to add some more in there. There we go. Now I'll kind of boop out the edges there, curve them out. Sometimes when you don't know the right word to say, you just kind of make a sound, right? Okay. There we go. Now I'm gonna grab, oh man, I about used all my white, didn't I? Grab just a little bit. Okay, and start at the middle like a circle that just keeps getting bigger, bigger, bigger. And it doesn't touch the whole time as you're spinning, okay? It's just little brush strokes. Little, oh, yep, see the yellow's cutting through right there. Barely touch it. If it's still wet up underneath there, you can just try to barely touch your brush to the canvas, so that way you lay the paint on top instead of cutting through the paint, okay? So there's the white. Now I could totally leave it like that, or you can try to grab some straight purple and put some straight purple in there. There we go. Oh my goodness. Now my doggy's barking. Okay. There. That looks so pretty. I love it. Love, love, love. And so now, I really don't like writing with a paintbrush. I'm not very good at it, I guess, would be my admitting a weakness. I'm okay. I can make it work. If you use the right size brush, you can totally paint words with a brush, but I prefer to use a paint pen. And you can get them for a really decent price online on Amazon or maybe Walmart, coupon at Hobby Lobby. But I prefer to use a paint pen. And so I think it would be really pretty over here in this corner, even if it goes on top of the flower. After this is 100% dry, then you could message in whatever, maybe you and whoever you want to give this to have a saying, love you more, or love you bunches and bunches, or I don't know, something about blooming, you help me bloom, or I don't know. So anyway, you can have fun with this. Bible verse, just whatever you want to put on it. But that is how I do them. And I'm not sure that I necessarily taught you very well, but you at least got to watch me do that. And you can rewind and watch again, and rewind and watch again. And like I said, the more you practice, the better you get at them. These are my favorite type of flowers to do, but I've done hundreds of them. And so, I feel like I've kind of gotten good at them over time, right? So, anyway, have fun with it. That's what painting's supposed to be about. It's just supposed to be an outlet to express yourself and enjoy yourself and to have fun, and don't take it too seriously. I really enjoyed sharing this with you, and of course, I cannot wait to paint with you again. Now, if you're watching me on YouTube, make sure and subscribe and leave me some comments. I don't know if you can comment in your art, but I'd love to see it. And then, of course, like and share. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you soon.